Good morning. How are you? Happy post-holiday on the way to New Year's Eve, which, it'll be pretty tame in our household. My dad always said that New Year's Eve was for the amateurs, which is not a funny thing for an Irishman to say, frankly. But I've never been big on it, and as you get older, one drink can put you to sleep. That's the problem. Well, as we slowly turn back to the real world, which is the fun factory on the hill, we see headlines in the Washington Times that have got to be distressing. It's a very conservative newspaper, has been over the years, and sometimes when I'd go to meetings on the hill, the conversation would turn to what are we going to do about these conservatives. We try to talk to them and they won't talk to us. And I would tell them at these meetings what Representative so-and-so had to say on that issue. And I told them that I had sources. Well, my sources were the Washington Times. The same conservatives who wouldn't talk to us in formal meetings were giving interviews to the Washington Times and talking about what they cared about. It sort of follows on the principle that Churchill read Hitler's Mein Kampf, because it's all in there, what this guy planned and what he had to say and so forth. And Churchill understood that, and he read the doggerel that constituted Hitler's plan. Now, I'm not saying that Hitler would be pleased at the Washington Times, but he wouldn't always be distressed. And one of the headlines today is about the upcoming midterm elections. And it reports, this is as news, this is an opinion, citizens other than those who are supposed to be on the rolls are on the rolls. And so we have non-citizens, we have dead people, and we have other people on the rolls. That's what they're actually saying. And so what are we saying in response? We're mute. It's like we're not engaging in that argument. And you've heard me say before, you can't win the argument you don't make. And we have that. Also, turning to our ever-growing danger, the pandemic, in its new chapter and phase with Omicron, is we have those who would catch up kind of management going on. We have people scratching their heads on cruise ships wondering why this is dangerous. And cruise ships are being turned away from ports. And more flights are being canceled. And before we have defined the obstacle to our health and safety and how we can maintain business and something like normal relations, we're going ahead just doing things. And we're getting kicked in the head because we don't know the enemy yet, and we're acting as if we do. And because of that, more people are getting infections. The infections are going through the roof. And it'll be a little while until we see if deaths follow in the same proportions as they did with the earlier versions of COVID-19, like Delta. So that's a real problem. Use the noggin. We have too many, mostly males, who are screaming, are we there yet? Or, we don't care if we're there yet. We're going to do what we want. Our freedom to kill ourselves trumps your right to be protected from our recklessness. That's who they are. And then there's a very interesting thing going on in the House. And it's the MAGA cult group, who are, Getz and those guys. They're now encouraging opponents to incumbents in those districts where the incumbent, a Republican, is not Trump enough. So we're seeing a very interesting political phenomenon. Now, if you went back to Stalin, some might call this a purge. Well, it is a purge. We've seen it. In fact, one of the good examples of the purge is how the Republican Party is trending toward this extreme view. You're either a Trump or we have no use for you. And what's a good example? A good example is the so-called bipartisan bill that Manchin worked hard on, that in the Senate had, I think, 19 senators, and had a similar number when it came over to the House. But now, since Trump is opposed to that is accomplishing anything, they've targeted those people who in the House voted to have a deal, a stimulus package, to have internal improvements, to have infrastructure changes. So we're in a very funny place. It's not logical. It's not good public policy. Normally it wouldn't be good politics. Basically favoring people that put your health at risk, that run down an electoral system that actually is fair, telling a big lie that it's not, including the cover story of the Washington Times today. So Democrats have to wake up. They have to do something, and they have to do it right away. All the best. It's a little chilly where I am. Maybe it's warmer where you are, but I'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a good day. Bye-bye.